In the shadows where truth and tales intertwine, we find the thrilling, the chilling, the downright spine-tingling. From the paranormal to the peculiar, every echo has a story. Dare to delve into the unexpected, the unexplained? Brace yourself, for you're about to embark on a journey where fear meets fascination. Stay tuned if you dare, for stories that will make your heart race and your mind ponder. Welcome to the realm of the eerie, the realm of the unknown. And remember, like and subscribe, if you dare. On a day like any other in Angers, Western France, 1598, a chilling discovery was made. An archer of the provost's company and a small group of peasants, their day-to-day routine interrupted by a grisly spectacle, stumbled upon a sight no one should ever have to witness. The lifeless body of a 15-year-old boy lay sprawled on the ground, his body mutilated beyond recognition, blood-soaked limbs still twitching, evidence of a recent kill. As the group drew closer, they noticed a pair of wolves, startled by their intrusion, darting away into the surrounding undergrowth. Armed and in numbers, the men decided to follow the wolves, cutting through the thick foliage, unaware of the horror that awaited them. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the bushes. A man, tall and gaunt, with unkempt hair and a thick beard, dressed in tattered rags. His hands, stained with blood, were caked with chunks of human flesh lodged underneath his nails. His appearance was so revolting, so beast-like, it took the men a moment to gather their courage. Yet they managed to subdue him, binding his hands and leading him to the local town. Before the town's magistrate, the man's identity was revealed. He was Jacques Oulet, a vagabond known to wander from town to town, begging for alms, often in the company of his brother, Jean, and cousin, Julien. The sight of the mangled boy, the fleeing wolves, and the blood-streaked man painted a horrifying tableau, one that would forever be etched in the minds of those present, a tale of lycanthropy and cannibalism that would spread fear and superstition through the town and beyond. What had begun as an ordinary day had evolved into a nightmare, the gruesome discovery a prelude to a story of horror and violence. The men who had stumbled upon the scene would carry the memory of that day for the rest of their lives, haunted by the chilling image of a man who was more beast than human. This man, who seemed more beast than human, was none other than Jacques Oulet. As Jacques was brought before the local magistrate, a story of horror began to unfold. The ragged vagabond, Jacques Oulet, stood before the court, his hands stained with blood and human gore. His confession was a chilling tale that would send shivers down the spine of even the most hardened listener. Jacques confessed that he was not merely a beggar but a creature of the night, a werewolf. This transformation, he claimed, was due to a special unguent bestowed upon him by his parents, who had dedicated him to the devil when he was but a child. This salve, when applied to his skin, granted him the ability to transform into a ravenous wolf with a monstrous craving for human flesh. His tale grew even darker as he described his horrific deeds. The young boy whose body had been discovered was not his first victim, nor would he have been the last. Had Jacques not been apprehended, Jacques admitted to a series of gruesome murders, carried out in the company of his brother, Jean, and cousin Julien. They too, he claimed, were werewolves, and it was they who had fled into the bushes when the body was discovered. His confession didn't stop there. Jacques spoke of attending witches' sabbats, of heinous ceremonies conducted under the cover of night. His tale was a haunting mixture of the supernatural and the all-too-real, a story of murder and cannibalism that left his listeners aghast. Jacques' confession was as detailed as it was disturbing. He provided precise dates and locations for his crimes, information that matched exactly with the records of missing children in the areas he frequented. His confession, though horrifying, provided a chilling explanation for the disappearances that had plagued the region. His confession was as detailed as it was disturbing, matching perfectly with the records of missing children. The grisly tale of Jacques Oulet, a man who claimed he was more beast than human, was a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the human soul. But the tale of Jacques Oulet was far from over. Our lycanthrope, Jacques, decided not to take his sentence lying down. Instead, he appealed against his conviction to the Parliament of Paris. His case, one of the most macabre and unsettling, was to be heard by the highest court in the land. Jacques stood before the Parliament, his eyes hollow, his body gaunt, and his spirit seemingly broken. He told the court that his confession was wrung out of him under duress. He painted a vivid picture of the torture he had endured, the pain he had suffered, and the hopelessness that had gripped him. He argued that he was not a werewolf, not a cannibal, but a man tormented and driven to the brink of insanity. The Parliament of Paris listened, deliberated, and after much consideration, declared Jacques Oulet not guilty of lycanthropy or cannibalism. But their verdict was not one of innocence. Instead, they found him to be insane. They believed that his horrific tales of transforming into a wolf and feasting on human flesh were not the confessions of a monster, but the ramblings of a disturbed mind. However, Jacques was not set free. The court ruled that he was a danger to himself and others. His sentence was revised, and instead of being put to death, Jacques was to be confined to a mental institution for 2 years. This was a fate arguably as grim as the gallows, given the state of mental health care in the 16th century. This unexpected turn of events sent ripples of shock and disbelief throughout the land. People were left to grapple with the idea that the werewolf of Angers was not a creature of the night, but a man plagued by his own mind. It was a chilling reminder that sometimes the monsters we fear are not lurking in the woods, but within us. And so, Jacques Oulet, the werewolf of Angers, was deemed a madman. The story of Jacques Oulet has since inspired a multitude of speculations. The tale, as bone-chilling as it is, has left many to wonder about the true nature of the events that transpired in that fateful year of 1598. One theory suggests that Jacques was merely a victim of circumstance, in the wrong place at the wrong time. His gruesome discovery, coupled with the horrific state he was found in, might have been enough to cast suspicion on him. But what if he was simply a scapegoat? It's not unheard of for people in those times to be forced into confessions through the excruciating pain of torture. The inquisitors could have easily referred to records of deaths in the area, forcing Jacques to admit to the crimes under the unbearable strain of torment. However, there's an interesting twist to this speculation. The Parliament's decision to label Jacques as insane, rather than blaming his confession on the torture he suffered, is a reflection of the attitudes towards torture in the 16th century Europe. It raises questions about the societal norms of the era and the blurred lines between sanity, insanity, and the supernatural. Another theory that has intrigued many revolves around the mysterious unguent Jacques, claimed to have been given by his parents. Some have speculated that this unguent was in fact a hallucinogen, a substance capable of inducing vivid and often terrifying visions. Could it have been that Jacques, under the influence of this substance, had been living in a state of constant delusion, believing himself to be a werewolf? Neither of these theories can be proven, of course. They merely add layers of intrigue to an already chilling tale. But they do serve as a reminder of the power of fear, the dangers of superstition, and the lengths to which people will go to make sense of the inexplicable. The case of Jacques Oulet remains a mystery, a chilling tale of horror and madness. As we reflect on the story of Jacques Oulet, we are left with more questions than answers. We've journeyed through a tale that's as chilling as it is perplexing. Jacques, a man or a monster, a sinner or a scapegoat, remains an enigma, shrouded in the mystery of lycanthropy and the darkness of the 16th century Europe. This tale, as blood-curdling as it is, forces us to confront the horrific depth of Jacques' crimes. The confession of devouring children, attending witches' sabbats, and transforming into a wolf through a devilish unguent paints a picture of a man consumed by a monstrous hunger. Yet the horror doesn't end with Jacques. It stretches to his kin, Jean and Julien, who are said to accompany him in his gruesome feasts. It's a stark reminder of the horrors that humans are capable of, and the thin line that separates us from the beasts we fear. Yet, lurking beneath the surface of this horror is a glimmer of doubt. Was Jacques truly guilty? Or was he a victim of his times, accused and tortured until he confessed to crimes he did not commit? His appeal to the Parliament of Paris, claiming his confession was given under duress, and their subsequent verdict of insanity rather than guilt, begs the question of his innocence. Could Jacques have been a victim of the rampant fear and superstition that gripped 16th century Europe, scapegoated for the crimes of an actual beast? This tale also sheds light on the attitudes towards mental illness in the 16th century. The decision to confine Jacques to a mental institution rather than executing him suggests a growing understanding of mental health issues, albeit rudimentary. It's a grim reminder of the journey we've taken in understanding and addressing mental health. In the end, we are left with a haunting tale that blurs the line between man and beast, sanity and madness. The story of Jacques Oulet, whether it's one of horror or injustice, continues to echo through the centuries, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the human heart. And so, our tale of the Campfire Horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The Campfire Horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So, if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us. Until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.